and today we will be facilitating our second COE Community of Practice, and we're really excited to have you here. So thank you for being here. We also have the support of our community here. We have Junue, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, Juno Partida, supporting Santa Barbara County. I will be helping with the facilitation of this community of practice. Welcome, everyone.
And Ashley and Jennifer, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Ashley Self, and I'll be supporting Santa Cruz and Ventura County.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jennifer Sarhati, and I will be supporting San Luis Obispo and San Benito County.
And in addition to our staff on the ground, we also have our support here at Monterey County Office of Education. We have the support of our superintendent, Dr. Deningas, and we also have the support of Dr. Ernesto Vela, who is the Assistant Superintendent of Student Services, as well as Dr. Ralph Porras, who is one of our Deputy Superintendents. If either of you would like to just say a couple words before we get started.
I'll go ahead and jump in as Ralph Porras. Thank you, team, for getting this going. I really appreciate all your hard work, and welcome everyone to the Monterey County Office of Education. Appreciate you being here, and we're honored to help support you through this process. So thank you.
And the same for me. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here. As with Dr. Porras and the rest of the team, we're proud and honored to serve all of you in the way we can. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us if we can continue to support, answer any questions. Thank you for being here.
And I see that in the audience, we have Alberto Solorzano, who's part of the STAC team. Alberto, if you would like to quickly introduce yourself to our Central Coast region, that would be great.
Sure, it's my pleasure being here this afternoon. Alberto Solorzano. I'm with the STAC at Alameda County Office of Education. I'm here to, again, provide some support, be an observer, and be of any of assistance I can.
Great, thank you. So we have a quick, we're gonna review our norms really quickly. Again, we're here to learn and make meaning together. Particularly the needs and assets is something that is really can be really difficult and really scary for a lot of people. So we really want to take the time to kind of go through some tools that might help other school districts and LEAs who are embarking on the process of analyzing or developing their own needs and assets assessment. It's an open space for all of us. If there's a question or a doubt that you have, please feel free to either unmute yourselves or put a question in the chat. And Junue and I were going to be alternating between reading the chat. We're also here to engage, and really we ask you that we all listen. And if you hear something and you have like, oh, I know I had the same question and this is how I resolved it, that would be great. And then let us know if you would like for us to follow up via email. The team, whether regardless of the region you're from, we're available via email, and we can also do Zooms or in-person visits. So here's a link to today's agenda, and Junue, if you can help me drop it in the chat. But basically the purpose of today's meeting is to really help you as county offices of education to really have the tools and be able to support grantees. And today we have some people that are going to be discussing what they did in order to best use the resources that they had to really work with the needs and asset assessment. And we'll have more information on that coming forward. And we have a quick icebreaker. We just want you to, in the chat, share a memorable school event or moment, and why was it memorable to you? So it could be something that you did when you were in high school, in college. It could be something that you did afterwards, like if you went on a field trip or something. So Junue was going to help us read just a couple of the answers. But again, if you want to take a minute just to kind of write the name of an event or a memorable school experience and why. So we have book fairs.
That was me.
Anyone else? would
Yeah,
like-
there should be some good ones out there. So we have Chandelier with Summer Lab Science Camp, traveling hands-on application of learning, awesome, and also relationship building. So that's great. Thank you for sharing that. Taking students to Catalina, wow, for CIMI Institute. Thank you, Noel. Cinco de Mayo festivities, Dr. Vela, those stood out to you. Football games and social events for Yvette in North County, and Ashley with her elementary school. She held an annual harvest. That's great for the whole family. Those relationships are very important. Jennifer study abroad at Vienna. Wonderful. Thank you everyone for sharing. Next slide, Herminia.
If you
Oh.
don't mind putting the sign-in sheet again in the chat.
Okay.
Thank you so much. So we really want to just kind of ground ourselves and just remind ourselves that all of the actions that that we take are really rooted into the California Community School Framework. Here is a little bit about the framework that we are going to be taking not only this year, but for those of you that are implementation or planning, maybe even a little bit longer. And today's presentation will be rooted under Cornerstone Commitment number 1, which is a commitment to asset-driven and strengths-based practice. And it will be under the proven practices. Then again, number 1, which is community and asset mapping and gap analysis. So today we're going to be going over one of the tools that was developed by the State Transformational Assistance Center for Community Schools. They developed a needs and asset tool to really help us understand what exactly we can do to have a successful campaign when it comes to needs and assets. And today what we're going to be doing, it's a 16-page document, and we're just kind of going to be breaking it down together, answering any questions that you have. So again, if you do come across an LEA or a school that may be either in the early stages of planning their asset mapping or needs assessment, that we're able to maybe answer any questions that they may have, as well as provide them with different suggestions. And I'll pass it over to Janue.
Thank you, Herminia. So as all of you know, many of you have engaged in the NAA process for another program, department, or grant. So the goal is, as you know, is to understand the different stakeholder groups and experiences and get feedback as far as the community schools work and the direction that your community and stakeholders would like it to go. So as this slide points out, it's collaboratively developed by, for, and with interest holders in mind. So that is the foundation of the work, is to make sure all stakeholders' voices are heard. Next slide, please. So what is a needs and assets assessment? So initiating the needs and assets assessment is comprised of understanding the purpose of the work, identifying leaders, and promoting the work. As if you were at the collaborative learning space with the STAC, Rachel Bryce, who is a consultant for the STAC and a member of the team, emphasized really that the NAA planning process is the work. So I think sometimes grantees may think, oh, the survey at the end where I get all the responses and the data, that's my needs and assets assessments, that's the work. Anything else before that is just, part of, planning and conversations, but that is actually part of the work. That's the work. The needs and assets assessment process is comprised of different methods that deeply engage stakeholder groups. Next slide, please. So developing the needs and assets assessment plan. So there are many components that you'll need to hit on in order to create your needs and assets assessment plan. Of course, multiple avenues of engagement, a variety of listening methods, consideration to languages spoken, and accessibility to ensure maximum participation. That one's critical, especially in communities that have a high population of Spanish-speaking families, and also engage in a disaggregated supermajority, which is 70% 75 to 100% participation. And I know that number kind of intimidates folks, and they're not sure how they're going to reach that threshold, but we'll address that in a couple of slides. Okay, so developing the needs and asset assessments plan. To achieve the depth and diversity of engagement, teams will need to set engagement targets and apply strong methods, resulting in a plan of action for your community schools work. So this process should include a range of listening and learning methods, and Edminia will go ahead and touch on some of those in the next couple of slides.
So here are some different examples of specific listening methods that can be utilized. Again, we're not going to go through every single one, but again, these are just kind of ideas. Anything from one-to-one interviews, focus groups, surveys, empathy mapping, equity walk, visioning exercises. These are all different examples of things that you can do. And then here, we also have a video that you guys can see later on about the different ways that this particular school approached the work. Also, just kind of how Junue mentioned, the 75 to 100% may be something that might be really difficult. And we understand that maybe that's not something that's doable in the first year. Maybe that's something that may or may not, that might take some time to do. But more than anything, we really just want to present the team with different ideas and approaches that could be utilized to get to that 100%. Personally, when I was the community school coordinator last school year, for example, we only had a handful of parent responses. And this summer, we sat down with the principal, with the alternative education director, and we were like, well, how are we gonna, get to a higher number next year? So we brainstorm and just really, I think that's really important, because I know sometimes it might feel like you have to get 100% and it doesn't feel very good when you don't get to that target, but really we're here to learn together and learn from each other's best practices to really ensure that we're listening from all of the different groups. With that said, here are some of the percentages that people who utilize some of these methods, what percentage of response they got. So for example, you will see that the areas that are highlighted in yellow, for example, surveys, visioning exercises, artistic expression, and those three, they got 100% on one of them, 80% and 75% on some of these tools. However, when you see other things like focus groups, they might only have received 25%. In terms of group meetings, they only received the 40%, but we really want you to, in addition to maybe creating a survey, or in addition to having more than one, to also include more than one method. That way, you are going to be able to gather a more, listen to the needs of other people that don't always answer the survey. So for example, here at our school, sometimes our parents, they don't really like surveys, but sometimes they prefer interviews, or once we get to build that trust with them, then they're really able to share what is it that they need and what is it that they want for their own community school. So again, here are some of the different engagement methods that you can partake in. And what I really like about this slide is it has the method on the left, and then it also shows you how they receive that information. So for example, for surveys, they receive that through Google Form reports, which is really easy and really convenient. Whereas a visioning exercise, they got 80% responses, and then they use participant feedback. So we really just want to open up the opportunity when it comes to needs and assets, that this is not something that needs to be done. It might take some time to build up to that 100%. And later today, we'll hear from our experts in the field who are going to share what they did and the tools they use to really engage their stakeholder groups. So again, we're going to basically touch about the process of developing a needs and asset assessment. So the first step is really grounding ourselves in our history and our context. So again, this would be really understanding how historical and social forces have shaped our current reality of the school and the community that we live in. And some of those things might change based on the state of the world or the state of the country, but really taking into consideration how we understand that historical context. Number two is really important. So analyzing existing data. I think when I started a year ago, I was like, oh my God, I have to do this survey and it's going to be really hard. What kind of questions am I going to be asking? And Dr. Vela was like, well, let's look at stuff that's already here. So also utilizing surveys that maybe are done in your community as a way to start looking at different examples of different questions, looking at what has already been identified by other communities or other members of the city council. What already do we know is a need? Here in Monterey County, we use the Impact Monterey County, and in our school, in addition to the survey that we created, we also utilized our youth truth data to really inform not only what the survey we created was going to look like, but really to give us an idea of what were the needs in our community, what were the needs in other surveys that the students had already taken. And step number 3 is really critical, and it's really planning for engagement. And what this means is really, how are we going to get the results that we want? We're going to get the results that we want by creating team structures, by developing different teams that are going to help us get the responses. What that may or may not look like is, for example, we can do team mapping. What is the purpose of the team? How are decisions going to be made? And really do the leadership identification, which is who's going to be the lead. Are we going to have a student lead? Are we going to have a parent lead? Are we going to have a staff lead and a community lead who are really going to support that specific population in responding to our survey or responding to our interviews? That way, it also takes some of the pressure that a lot of us community school coordinators feel, and it really takes us away from working in silos. And rather than me having to attend 25 meetings, I know that I can have a staff member take the lead for the staff survey. I know I can ask the staff to let me have some of their class time to also have students answer the survey. So really, we want to create a work that's collaborative and a work that's going to bring all of our stakeholders together. Again, really important, if you see this purple box right here, it's going to take some time to build, anywhere from 6 to 12 months to go through all of these steps. And again, the first steps were 1, grounding in our context and history, 2, analyzing existing data, and 3, really creating that system, that structure of support. So it's not going to be something that we're going to be doing today, and by next week it's going to be perfect. It's going to take some time. And then this is an example of what those coordination implementation teams can look like. For example, it could be a parent that's the lead, a staff that's the lead, a student that's the lead, a community member. And these are just some examples of people who can be in a community school team. But again, this might look different in our community. And then here, hopefully, if we have these leads, they are really going to support us into getting that 75 to 100% of engagement that we're really looking forward to. And then once we have that, then that's going to inform our community school leadership team, which is usually the advisory council, and they're going to guide us on the process of how, now that we have this information, what are we going to do with it? With that said, I know we've been talking for some time, and we really want to bring voices from the field, people who are excelling into, really using needs assessments and asset mapping. And today we have the honor of having 2 speakers from Monterey County. we have Emily and we have Yvette, and they are here with us from North Monterey County School District. And they're going to be sharing with us their best practices around asset mapping, because that's something that they do really well. They're going to be sharing how, again, they've used their existing resources and really braided all of their work through the community school lens. So without further ado, please help me welcome Emily and Yvette.
Hello. I'm going to take over screen sharing. Thank you. All right. Is everyone able to see that? Okay. Sometimes I'm not sure if I'm sharing the right screen. All right, so Yvette and I are here today to talk about the role of our North Monterey County Alliance in the Community Schools Initiative. My name is Emily Tsai Brownfield. I'm the Director for Learning and Innovation, and I have been working with North Monterey County since 2012, I believe. Yes, 2012. But I have been working with the Alliance, I think, since about 2015. Yvette?
Hello, everyone. I'm Yvette Padilla. I am the coordinator for communication, outreach, and community partnership. I've been with North Monterey County almost 20 years. For 18 and a half years, I was the senior executive assistant to our superintendent. For the last year, I've been in a coordinator position. I oversee our communication department. And I'm also working part of the community schools, which is the outreach and the community partnership. Also, too, I've been a North County's student. I went to all from Castroville to the middle school to the high school. I have several nieces, nephews, grandkids, kids, you name it, all vested in this community. My father even went to Moss Landing and Castroville School. So I come from deep roots here in North County, and it's a privilege to serve here in my own community, in my own backyard. So I'm excited to continue to support our district with bringing in more community partnerships, which we will get into. But just so you know, we are unincorporated area of Monterey County, which is, we're just a small little pocket in Monterey County. So it's the Alliance work has really paved the way for a lot of the partnerships that are starting to come in. So I'll go ahead and next slide, Emily, please.
You want to talk a little bit about the mission and vision?
Oh, yes, the mission. Okay, so I think the next slide, so the mission of the Alliance, it's really small. So it's to build pathways here in our community, and it started off as cradle to career. So every community member has potential. So I'm getting stuck on this one because I was going to go straight into the North County mission. So it's the cradle to career. So before COVID, Emily was part of the group of starting it from cradle to career. In the last 4 meetings, we're reinvigorating it just to see how it fits into the community school model. So as of right now, this is the mission. It might change. So this is the mission for the community schools. And the next slide is our North Monterey County mission. And this is our mission that we've put together through a strategic plan. And the next slide is, I want to show you a video that goes with it. Because I am part of the communications team, it gives a picture of what we're doing. Every year we have a theme. So this year's theme is in our video. So Emily, if you could share that video, I will be sharing a few videos throughout our presentation because I like to put a visual to what we're talking about. So you could play that video, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Being NMCUSD is dreaming, engaging, achieving together. Being NMCUSD is the opportunity to become a leader, to be equipped to thrive in any path of life. Being NMCUSD means immersing yourself in CTE pathways, learning by doing, innovating, communicating, and collaborating, starting your path to college and elementary, earning certifications and degrees in high school. The pride of being NMCUSD lives on long and evolves. NMCUSD is you, embracing change, inspiring futures.
So this is our theme for the year. Thank you. And just a really quick background on our videos, and I'm always super proud. Our multimedia communication team are all North County alumni. We have a multimedia communication specialist who creates the videos. Our interpreter is from North Monterey County. Our film and media specialist from North Monterey County, and our support administrative assistant is from North Monterey County. They are all alumni, and they're a team that we were able to build. And so they are creating from their lenses. They're all in their 20s. So I always think I'm in my 20s when I'm with them, but I'm not. So they're in their 20s. So their lenses of showing the narrative of North Monterey County comes from them and from the students that we serve. So I just wanted to put that out there because I'm super proud of the team that we have. Thank you. Next slide.
I'm actually going to take us back a couple slides to talk a little bit about the North Monterey County Community Alliance. So the Community Alliance was actually developed prior to us being awarded the Community Schools Grant. But we felt that a lot of the core of the Community Alliance is really well aligned with the direction we're trying to go with the Community Schools Grant, because the purpose of the Alliance was to collaborate to pursue the mutual interest as change agents to improve the quality of life for our community, and that we would advance that through the application of a whole child approach to positive youth development to actively support the cognitive, social, emotional, and physical development of children in the community. And so we felt that this was an existing asset that we had that we could build on as we were as we continue to build this community schools framework within our school district. To give you a little bit of context around our school district, we have approximately 4,500 students, and we do span from preschool all the way to adults. So we are a unified school district. We cover a pretty large geographic area in that we're 70 square miles. And it's primarily unincorporated coastal and agricultural land. We do provide free transportation to our students, which isn't a requirement, but because we really want our students to be in school and to make sure that we're removing all barriers for them to be able to attend school, it's something that we do. We have been struggling recently with our transportation, as many of the other districts I know throughout the country are dealing with, but we are committed to this. Our unduplicated pupil percentage is 87.3%, which means we have a really high percentage of students with a variety of needs. We have our multilingual learners, our English learners, at 47%. Approximately 6% of our students are migrant students. Almost 85% of our students are considered socioeconomically disadvantaged. 27% of our students are homeless and foster youth. This percentage we actually think is probably higher. In the past, we've seen it as high as 37%. And we serve 12.2% of our students with disabilities. Obviously, if you add all of those numbers up, it doesn't equal to 100%. The reason for that is because many of our students fall under 1, 2, 3, 4, or even 5 of those categories. So going back to the history of the North Monterey County Alliance, just a second. As Yvette mentioned, we are located in an unincorporated rural area of Monterey County, which means there is no city government, and the only elected officials are those who serve on our school board and our area county supervisor. That poses a bit of a challenge because most other communities have a city government to partner with or other government officials to partner with when identifying solutions for their community. So as a result, we needed to create a hub for our community partners to engage so that we could collectively provide services to our students and families. Our alliance has been in operation since 2013. And in 2015, we developed 3 collaborative action teams within the Alliance to maximize the collective impact of our group. So we had the early years, which covered birth to 2nd grade. Then we had the middle years. So you'll see this whole cradle to career visual here. So it was birth to about 2nd grade. Then we also had another group called the middle years, which covered 4th through 8th grade. And then we had college and career, which was 9th grade through adult. We had very specific goals and actions we were focused on collectively. For example, the early years collaborative action team was focused on getting students ready for kindergarten through parent education. The middle years was focused on increasing academic mastery and character development through exposure to career readiness, giving them a purpose and a way to engage with what they wanted to be in the future. And then the college career action team was focused on connecting career pathways to local employers by developing pathways to local businesses through work-based learning. So one of the areas that I've been responsible for has been developing career technical education pathways, as well as dual enrollment. You'll see here that we were really committed to this collective impact model, that by engaging and developing a shared community vision for this community alliance, having cross-sector engagement and making sure that we were strategic in how we communicated across the board. We wanted to ensure that we were using evidence to make decision-making so that there would be community level outcomes. We would be able to collect data and share data and analyze data together. I really liked the information that you guys shared earlier around the deep needs and asset assessment. And one question that kind of arose out of that was, how do we identify who would then be responsible for taking all that data that you've developed over I think Armenia, you said 9 to 12 months, right? And actually analyzing it and synthesizing it into something actionable. And then the collaborative action, selecting the priority outcomes. And it was the result of that how we developed our collaborative action teams, so that we could have this continuous improvement model where we would be able to see the impact from cradle to career. And then being able to sustain it by mobilizing the resources for impact, and then eventually aligning our policy and our advocacy. What I have here is just a copy of our 2015 strategic plan. And so this was developed as a result of the work of the Alliance, of all the different stakeholders we had, or educational partners we had, and what each one was focused on, who was involved in each one of the collaborative action teams. All right, which brings us to the present. And Yvette's going to talk a little bit about how the North Monterey County Community Alliance is enhancing our community schools through stakeholder engagement.
So first of all, I want to thank Emily for giving us that clear vision. Emily has been the longest with the Alliance. We've had some shift in leadership, so she was able to give a broader perspective and how it aligns with our community school now. So yes, we restarted our North Monterey County Alliance meetings. Some of our stakeholders that are serving on our Alliance are district administrators. We have some school leadership, community representatives. We have some staff and parents. And now we have our youth advisors, our youth ambassador program that will be attending all of our Alliance meetings. So we have now student voices. They did attend at our last meeting and presented. So when we regrouped the Community Alliance meeting. We regrouped back in January of last year. During that time, we had over 40 agencies that wanted to be part of it. They all want to give back, and doing that one-on-one, and Edwina mentioned that grassroots, just talking to people. There's so many resources that are out there that could be leveraged with the resources that we provide, and how that's going to fit into our schools. So when these meetings started coming around, we have a list of over 90 agencies on our list. We've been having consistently over 40 to 50 members coming to our meetings. And from there, it's growing. And the way it's growing is everybody has the same goal. We all want student involvement. We all want community engagement. We all want equitable access for our community. Just this morning, the Central Coast Wetlands is part of our group, and she was also from the Elkhorn Slough, asked to be on a call, and she invited the Fish and Wildlife. And I said, oh, whoa. And so they were on the call, and what it was the equity officer that wants to bring equitable land and use for our community. So she wants to understand, is it access that why our families are not coming into these different spaces? So she wants to do a survey. So we talked a little bit about the Alliance. We talked about different ways that we could promote that. And I said, well, I have a communications team. We could do videos, we could do surveys, and we have a community event happening November 5th. She was really excited. They want to come into our community. They also want to present to our students the different career pathways. So it connects all the 4 different pillars of the community schools on what they want to do when they come in. So we've had a few meetings. On May 5th, we also had a mini strategic planning session. Many of you guys know Michelle Slade. She's amazing. She does a lot of strategic planning around Monterey County. So these were some of the topics that she talked about. And again, we had over 50 different agencies that came in and gave their input. So our meetings are interactive. It's not just, hey, this is what the district's doing. It's more of co-creating, sharing ideas, and then bringing it to the table. And just from that, we're growing. Again, today was a perfect example. It's just word of mouth. So I left those notes for you to see. We also did a September 26th meeting. Thank you, Edwina and Hunwe. They both came to our meeting. Hunwe stayed to go, was in some of the breakout groups. And it was, again, it's an engagement opportunity to see how we all fit in and how we're able to provide different opportunities for our students. So this could be used also as a needs and assets and leveraging the resources that we have now. So these are, again, some of our notes that I'm sharing. I could also share different PowerPoints if you would like. Yes.
And we are also trying to share the leadership as well. And so an example is I facilitated a group around hands-on learning experiences. And so the group that was with me with this hands-on learning experience, we're going to facilitate a session with the entire Alliance on doing some asset mapping on how can each of the different partners we have, how could they help to provide hands-on learning experiences for our students at the different grade levels as well as with our families. And so we're asking each of the groups who attended last time that were part of these groups to help to facilitate a conversation with the larger Alliance for a future Alliance meeting. Do you want me to show this video, Yvette?
Of course, you guys. I'm going to share another video just to show this is it's a mini video of our Alliance meeting. It's an overview. So every time we have highlights throughout the week here at our district. And this is a highlight of our September 26th. It's not working, the link, huh?
Sorry. Do you want to try to share or do you have access to it?
Yeah, we could go ahead and share it. I could share it. I could pop in the link and we could share our PowerPoint at another time, but it's about 30 to 35 seconds video of just an overview of our meeting. So we want to keep this as an historical document to continue our work. Okay.
So we've identified some key staff members for community schools. You'll notice that some of them were actually existing positions and other positions were added on or we multi-funded them. So at each one of our funded community schools, we have a community liaison too. They are the one that is helping to connect the people to the different resources at the school site. We are in the process of hiring parent ambassadors. We have a couple of them already in place. We have our mental health staff, our health staff, and we have a trifecta of coordinators, including Yvette's position, coordinator for communications outreach and partnerships, our child welfare, homeless, and foster youth coordinator, and our licensed social worker mental health coordinator. We do also have Dr. Chandy Wood on as a guest in this Zoom. Chandy, is there anything else you can say about the staffing? If you're on.
Well, I think that we are keeping a close eye on it. I'll just say that we're making sure that we are implementing, having the right people do the right things, right, for the community school articulation at our school sites. But this team is awesome, and I'm so proud of you. I'm enjoying listening to your presentation, all the great work. So keep going. You guys are doing amazing.
Thank you. So we secured $6.1 million in funding over the course of the next 5 years. We chose the Castroville community specifically because that's really what we call the nucleus of North Monterey County. We have Castroville Elementary School, which serves 612 students, Elkhorn Elementary School, which serves 600 students, North Monterey County Middle School, which is 7th and 8th grade, and that serves a little over 650 students, and North Monterey County High School, our only comprehensive high school that serves a little over 1,300. And Dr. Wood was actually principal of North Monterey County High School for about 5 years, until fairly recently. All that to say, though, we are not limiting the community schools model to just the schools that were funded, but we are structuring how we work with all of our schools into a community schools model. There are only 2 additional elementary schools, and then we have an educational options, two schools in our educational options program, which would be our North Monterey County Center for Independent Study and Central Bay Continuation High School. And so we are committed to this model as a district. We are currently developing impact teams to redefine and integrate existing positions and roles into this model, so that we can have a full implementation team, which would of course include the principal, our district level staff, our specialists, our mental health team, our special services team, and ensuring that we're looking at this from a holistic point of view. We're also looking at our school site council to ensure that they are part of the process as well, and considering them as so we're exploring what's a model that would work so that we're not tapping into the same people over and over again, but how do we integrate the common purposes we have within each type of group, and then making sure that we're operationalizing our teams. So how do we ensure that we use a democratic process to ensure that every one of our key educational partners are heard and that those ideas then are implemented. Some other examples of some other staff on site are academic counselors. We have English learner specialists at each of our sites, as well as intervention specialists. And we have a lot of classified staff that are also part of this support structure. And Yvette's going to talk a little bit more about our approach.
Okay, so our approach, again, it's student-centered. So our students are the heart of our district. So the way we're looking at is we do have a lot of assets. So we want to leverage on those assets, and we know that we want equity for all students. So 2 of the big things that I'm going to highlight on this is, one of them is the linguistics. We do have a high population of Spanish. And also too, we do have over 8% of our families speak Mixteco. So we want to make sure that we're reaching out to all of our families, really building those relationships to get them into our schools. We also are addressing our chronic absenteeism with the county, because we do have a high percentage of chronic absenteeism. Dr. Woods here on the call, she's been amazing. We're working with the communications team to build toolkits on how to reach out to families and get them the support that they need, and how that fits into the community schools approach. If our kids are not in school, how do we know what are their needs? So we know if they're not in schools, there has to be a need, whether it's basic needs, whether it's mental health, or whatever it may be. That's how we're going to be measuring that data. But again, we want to create a space where all children belong and feel safe. So I'm going to share another video. I'm really proud of this video. I'm really passionate about our youth. She was one of our youth leaders. She was part of our youth leadership, and she speaks Mixteco. So this is one of our Mixtecos videos. Emily, is there sound?
Yes, can you hear? It's just music right now.
Shitoni sawa Nawali kwa Quinter. Nawali no akeo, Nana Jiménez, Nachineta Gutushon, registración, Ñacoqui, 25 de febrero, Shakundaini sawana Kakundaina. The Shavia Chineton Shin, Shakundaini sawana Kakundaina Sha. The Shavia Chineton Shin, Tash información Sha, Miquillo. Miki registración, Kishinta Kundina familia, Kishinakutoni na escuela, maestro, shi salón. Dasa Kishita Kundina Vali, Kunichinda Toshin Casembita un Takuntina. Kishinto escuela en tu primaria construir el cor, Ecovali Prundel. Ki 25 de febrero, Kisha Kai, Tantia Kaushubi. Casa inscribiendo sendo bichi.
So that is one of our former students. She speaks Alto Bajo, Mixteco, Spanish and English. She's actually a Hartnell College student. I just have to give a quick background. She is undocumented. However, she is a track star. She's first in state. So she's getting offers to every college in California, even on the East Coast. So I told the media I was super proud of this story. We're doing a mini documentary on her, our media team, because we want to highlight the next level alumni from North County, and we want to show other students that their dream is attainable. Whether it's going to community college or four-year, just because of your status, that doesn't mean that you don't get to further your education. So we're going to continue to tell those stories. We want kids to be in school. We want to bring them the resources. We have the partners that want to help support our group as a whole. So this is just a small example on how we're outreaching our families based on the data that we have and the language that we have. So right now, 8% of our families speak Mixteco. So the next one is the way that we're going to continue is, of course, we're going to continue to strengthen our relationships and foster those relationships with our organizations through the Alliance, and continue those collaboration by identifying the needs in our community and in our students. We want to continue to explore other opportunities and expand services with our community partners. If it's healthcare or support, we want to continue with our parent and community engagement. We do have a lot of opportunities for our families to get involved. We do offer classes for parents. We have our parent ambassadors. We have through the migrant program, we have through our adult program. So we want to continue to have our parents engaged as well. Hopefully they'll be part of our community schools advisory team we'll get some of those parents involved. But we do right now have, we are starting to see a lot of parents wanting to get involved in our schools. Again, we're going to be using the data and assessment tools that are provided. Right now, we are using our chronic attendance data. We are working closely with the county. And again, thanks to Dr. Wood's lead, we are making some progress. And another quick story, one of our schools does neon dance parties for attendance, and it's been working. So we're trying to find different strategies. So knowing that, finding different strategies that could be incorporated into community schools. And again, it's not incorporated like this is just community schools. It's going to be the initiative. This is going to be the North Monterey County way on how we're going to get kids what they need. And a professional development, again, this is one of them, is we're continuing to learn. We want to evolve into the community schools initiative. Emily has done a great job of really explaining all the great programs and all the initiatives that we currently have. It's just now making sure they're coordinated in order to serve all of our families. And funding strategies, we all know that could be a little tricky. However, through this process of the Alliance, and I'll explain in a bit, we're having our Community Resource Festival, having those grassroots conversations with our local partners, a lot of them are alumni. And they are stepping up to the plate, and they said, you know what, Yvette, I have this facility. You could have your community partner festival here. So by having those conversations, it's going to start evolving, I think, pretty quick. So people want to get involved. They just don't know how. So funding strategies, if they don't know how to get involved, they can write us a check. But that's just a little part of it. So now we're going to move on to, we want to hear from some of you. What are some of the best practices that you have, since we're all learning and evolving together, on some of the ways that you're implementing this into your schools, implementing community partners into your schools. Some of the practices, if you could share. It's a Jamboard. Emily, can you drop it into the chat?
Right. You might need to adjust the rights so that everybody can edit.
Okay, let me go in there. I apologize that I did that.
Now it's set at view only, I think. Or you can also just share your best practices in the chat.
Yeah, it does say it is shared that way. I don't know why it's not sharing.
It says everyone can open.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Does it say anyone with the link can edit?
Yep.
Oh, interesting. I don't know why mine says view only. Well, I think people can try to go in. If they're not able to put it in, go ahead and put it in the chat. Some of your best practices in implementing community schools. It's like home visits to do interviews, scheduling one-on-one meetings at the site or via Zoom for parents and community members. Thank you, Alberto. Open lines of communication with the County Office of Education leadership teams. Leveraging existing relationships, absolutely, through other divisions and departments, CTE and Chamber. Thank you, Noel. Student forum for various grade levels, absolutely. Dr. Wood has done a lot of these student focus groups over the years. And Yvette has been such a champion for our youth ambassadors as well. So what you don't know is, prior to this role of being this coordinator for communication and partnerships, she volunteered a lot of her time to get the students some leadership training and helping their voices to be heard in the community and advocating within the community and engaging in these civic projects. We appreciate your input. And Yvette, you want to?
Yes, here I go with another story. Oh, were you going to say something, Edvinia? No, I thought she was going to say, okay. I thought somebody was going to say, okay. So just really quick, Daisy Gonzalez, she is one of our students. I'm playing her video because it just shows on when we serve the whole child and the family. Daisy comes from a family of 7. Her parents are undocumented, work in the fields. She has used all our wraparound services from basic needs all the way up to being involved in our schools and different clubs. From, she stayed for the after school. She was in baile folklorico. She was in band. She was also part of our Castroville leadership group. She was part of the census project. And during the census project, I remember, because I helped lead that, she would come on at 9 o'clock and I said, oh my God, did you just wake up? She said, no, I just got home from working in the fields. So she was 4 o'clock in the morning, helping her family in the fields. She's the oldest sibling out of all 5. And she recently, because of all of her successes, she applied for Questbridge and she was accepted into Stanford. So I want to show you her video, and it makes me cry all the time. But I'm not going to cry. But
Stanford with 4. Thanks to Questbridge. Oh my gosh, how are you feeling? I just feel very it feels very unreal, but I feel like I'm still in that phase of shock right now. Stanford. You like to give wholehearted thanks to some students for encouraging me to go through the entire process. It was a very lengthy process, but I was really want to wish her so much because she really did encourage me throughout the whole entire process to go through and everything. But thank you so much to her.
So Alexandra Solis is our college career counselor.
There's music to this video. You couldn't hear it on this end, but it is a pretty powerful video. The minute we knew, Miss Elise gave a call to our communication teams, said, run down here with your cameras. We want to catch it. We want her to start telling her teachers and her friends. And so that was all in real time. So they were just realizing that she all got into Stanford. So we're like, yay, we were all crying. We were all jumping up and down. But that's the reason why we're here, is for students like Daisy. So thank you.
I got excited.
So now we're having our big community resource festival. This is our 2nd annual community resource festival. It's happening on Sunday, November 5th. So far, we have 40 agencies that will be there to table. We will have entertainment, baile folclórico from our after school program, the little ones at our elementary or high school. We have 2 conjuntos bands that are playing that are our high school students. We have our band, and we also have our Aztec dancers, and we have 2 of our amazing principals that will be helping us host this event. We will have a free barbecue that is sponsored by Waste Management and by Vistra. It's the new power plant, energy plant, where you see the 2 mouse standing, the 2 sticks. So they're going to be sponsoring our event, and we have other funders as well. We have Chispa, we have Premier Packing, and other agencies that are coming together and that really want to give back to our community. So this is an event, again, that keeps growing. Last year, we fed over 500 families for free. This year, we're going to prepare ourselves for 800. We do also have a free farmers market. So everything is free. We don't have vendors there. We want our families to see the different resources that are available to them and also highlight the programs that North Monterey County has to offer. So this is an opportunity for us to showcase what we have and also to present some of those different opportunities that our families could get involved in. So November 5th, whoever wants to come, hope to see you there.
And I want to really acknowledge Yvette for all her hard work in putting this together, reaching out to all the different agencies and saying, hey, you want to give a donation? Hey, you want to donate a raffle item? So huge thanks to Yvette for all that she does to support our community and the work that we're doing.
Thank you, Emily, and thank you, and also Dr. Wood, she's online. So thank you again. And also thank you, Edminia and Hunwe, for reaching out and letting us highlight North County. Every time we get an opportunity, we take it. We want to continue to push North County to the front. We have some amazing programs, amazing people working here. And most importantly, we have some amazing students. I think we have the best students, but I think everybody thinks they have the best students. So thank you again for the opportunity.
And don't forget to fill out your feedback survey. Junue has posted it in the chat. So I'm going to stop sharing.
Yes. Thank you so much, North Monterey County, for that presentation. You really kind of summed up what it means to collaboratively collaboratively work with teams that are already existing, how to enhance them through the lens of the community schools work. So we appreciate so much for you providing that example. And everyone, thank you so much for being here. We are running a little over, so I just asked before you click off the Zoom and exit from the meeting today, if you could please fill out our participation feedback survey, that would be wonderful. And we will see you at the next community of practice meeting. Did you want to say anything, Herminia?
No, just thank you all for coming. And if you can help me just thank our presenters today, either by writing
Yes.
something in the chat or saying something.
Thank you so
that would be
much.
great. Thank you so much for being here, and we will see you if you're going tomorrow to our general community of practice. And if not, we'll see you next month. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.